Hello. Today we will ask Bunker Bear about some comments the Obama made over the weekend. Bunker Bear.
Yes.
The Obama said that the Franklin Roosevelt was pretty fiscally conservative. He said the New Deal got the economy growing again, and then FDR made an austerity budget, and suddenly in 1937 the economy went down again. He said that what really pulled America out of the Great Depression was World War II.
Give me a bleeping break. The taxpayers have the austerity. The government does not. And the artificially high prices, suppressed competition, waste, and lowered production, caused by the New Deal, helped deepen and prolong the Great Depression. The 1933 National Recovery Act and Agricultural Adjustment Act were really bad. The Supreme Court struck them down in 1935 and 1936. With their depressive regulations and bureaucracy gone, the economy started to recover.
I see.
But the 1935 Social Security tax, wealth tax, and undistributed profits tax on business started sucking the life out of the private sector again in 1936. And the jackass Federal Reserve raised the reserve requirements for banks, and that lowered the money supply again. And the government was crowding private business out of the market for loans.
Oh dear.
The 1935 Wagner Act gave more power to unions. The 1936 Walsh-Ely Act said you must use union labor to do business with the U.S. government. Union wages went up, but production did not. The price of goods went up, but profits went down, because the human beings could not afford the high prices. Then in 1937, a wave of union strikes began, and that lowered production even more.
Then the Obama was wrong.
Yes. And it is no wonder, with all that central planning bullcrap, that the 1937-1938 depression within the depression started.
Then did World War II actually pull us out of the Great Depression?
Not in the way some economists say, and certainly not with deficit spending. The deficit spending and inflation of World War I were the root causes of the Great Depression. And death, destruction, and waste cannot possibly bring prosperity.
But unemployment went down in World War II.
So should we now draft everybody into the military to lower today's unemployment? And people who are killed are not counted as unemployed anymore. Is that good? And you cannot trust economic statistics from World War II because of the price controls. Sure, inflation increases GDP on paper, but it does not increase production. And what good are products that are destroyed in war? And no matter how you juggle the stats, mask the inflation with price controls, and so on, there was no wartime prosperity.
Well, I do not see millions of unemployed people volunteering for military service. So it appears not to be a good solution. But what did end the Great Depression?
The human beings finally got tired of bullcrap New Deal failures. In the 1938 election, Republicans gained 81 seats in the House and 7 in the Senate. And the approach of World War II forced FDR to stop his war on business and get rid of his New Dealers.
I see.
And FDR had to end his psychological war on the American human beings. He stopped telling them that they were weak and could not get along without Big Brother, and started telling them to start producing. And when the war was over, the jackass New Dealers and FDR were gone. So recovery was not suppressed anymore.
That makes more sense than saying deficit spending and war are good for the economy.
And if this meathead Obama thinks war is good for the economy, then why didn't the deficit spending on the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan keep us out of a recession? Why did he complain about the deficit spending on those wars? And did he increase the war in Afghanistan and start another war in Libya to improve the recession?
He does seem to be contradictory there.
Damn right. And let this meathead Obama explain how deficit spending is supposed to cause economic recovery when we already have $14.5 trillion of national debt. How does deficit spending cure problems caused by deficit spending? Let's hear some explanation from the great meathead. And let him deficit spend this. Now, if you don't mind, I'm watching a science fiction movie called The Attack of the 50-Foot Meathead.